and I see nothing. So great rising, good morning. Y'all know I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here with you today. So just give me a quick second. I'm trying to be live in three places. Y'all know how I do. So just a moment, just a moment. We are going to get started post haste. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Come on in and have a seat. Hey, Dr. Don. I got alarms going off everywhere. All right, I think that's all the alarms. I think I got all the alarms done. Think I got all the alarms done. Making sure that I am doing the right thing right now. We don't need any feedback. Y'all don't like that, right? I don't like it. So just making sure we don't have any feedback from all these different sources. Girl, I always come on looking confused because I'm always trying to make sure that I've done the thing that I thought that I've done. But what's on my screen in front of me never looks like what you see in front of you. It never looks like what you see in front of you. Trust me when I tell you. And I know because I have two other screens that's showing me one thing and the one in front of me is like, yeah, no, I don't think we're going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and no longer be a deer in the headlights. We're going to get this popping. So good morning, great rising. Y'all know how we do it. This is Celebrity Mary. And this is the most segregated hour of the week. It's 11 a.m. on a Sunday. So you know what that means. This is the MoneyFest Destiny Show. I am leading with love, governed by peace. It's a gospel of money because money is your God-given right. Listen, this is a different kind of Bible study each and every Sunday at the most segregated hour of the week, I should say, 11 o'clock. So y'all know we got a call-in number. So let me go ahead and get the particulars out of the way. Let me get the particulars out of the way. Get that done first so we can get into this text because I think I got something for you this week. I think you're gonna like this. So the call-in number is 669-900-6833. 669-900-6833. And the participant ID is 40. Okay, that's what we're using this week. So go ahead, make sure that if you're going to call in, give me a few minutes. Let me get through my text first, and then we're going to talk about it, okay? So the other thing is I need you to stick around to the end of the show. I always have exciting announcements about what we're doing, and I'm going to give y'all a few more. I might give you a little bit of a sneak peek at what we're doing in some of these other spaces. So you got to lay around for it. You got to lay around for it. Also, make sure that you give me feedback. Let me know if I'm hitting the marks that you want me to hit. Let me know what you want me to talk about in upcoming weeks. Even let me know if there might be a guest or two that you think might appreciate coming on to a show like this. All right. So let's talk about that. And of course, as usual, this show comes with caveats, warnings, and disclaimers. First and foremost, do not assume that a person is lying just because you've not ever heard the teaching before now. The opinions expressed are those of the speakers or typers, people who come on, hey, Gerald, how are you? And not necessarily those of the show. All advice that's given is based on personal experience and independent research by the speaker. So engage at your own risk. Y'all see the title, right? Y'all see what's happening. This is the MoneyFest Destiny Show. We always going to be solving real problems. Today, we're talking about the real root of all evil. That's what we're talking about. And I want you to understand that through this right here, we're going to talk about some economic healing and some financial dignity for sure before we can even get into that capital inclusion thing. See, y'all be wanting to put the cart before the horse. But do you think if you put a cart in front of a horse that you're going to get that thing going very far? But I promise you, if you hitch that cart to the back of that horse and let that horse lead, you're going to get to that capital inclusion thing. And I'm going to prove it to you. We're going to talk about it today. So I always start out with the problem statement because that's how we know what it is that we actually talking about. There are great inequities and imbalances in our current wealth system in the world. Okay. There's, 4 classes of workers. Y'all know, y'all could probably say it with me. 4 classes of workers. They are the poor, the working class, the wealthy, and the elite. There are children being born right now who will never complete a job application or work for a living. Those children belong to the wealthy and the elite, and they make up 5% of the world's population, but they share 95% of the world's wealth. There are some children being born right now who will only work for a living. Those children are born to the poor and the working class, and they make up 95% of the world's population. They only share about 5% of the world's wealth. Now, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Well, I think that it has something to do in this country in particular, but globally as well, with race. I believe that socioeconomic status, like where you're born, where you start out at in life, that people, want to kind of help you stay in that position. They're not interested in your growth or your overall well-being. And that typically is driven by the class or race that you are born into. Okay. So there's that. There's so many other things. We always talk about how so much black wealth was lost during the last economic downturn, the last big economic downturn, because so many black and brown families have their wealth, particularly black families, have their wealth tied up into their homes, the place of, the roof over their head, as well as with their 401ks, which is tied to their jobs. That when an economic downturn hit, two of the strongest pillars, the biggest legs of this economy, those people lost their shirts. They lost 95% of their wealth. 95% of their wealth. That number keeps being repeated. The way we get money now has changed. It's not going back. Jobs ain't coming back. This last 35, 36, this last month, little more than a month, has proven that not even good government jobs are stable. So jobs are not coming back. Don't bank on that. It's time to turn around, look straight ahead, and decide how you want to show up in this world. How do you want to live? How are you going to continue to suppress that greatness that's in you? Or are you going to go ahead and let that thing come on out and do what it is that you came here to do? I have another show called Bag Lady Revive, where we say your profit is in your purpose. And we ain't talking about prophesying or profit line. We're talking about MONEY. Your profit, PROFIT, is in your purpose. So are you going to start living your purpose? We're not getting money how we got money before. It's just not going down like that. Not on the scales that it did. Okay. People did that takes me right into the next thing. People not wanting to change. You got to change. You have to. It's required, or you're going to keep getting what you've always gotten. Okay. I want y'all to go ahead, like, react, share, comment. Oh, you know what else will be good? I know that dog gonna like this. Start a few watch parties for your girl. There's some people in your life who need to hear what I have to say. And I'm giving you the opportunity by giving you this introduction, by reminding you, by giving this refresher that, you actually have everything that you need, and you got some stuff that some other people need too. They'll hear it if it comes from you. When they hear it in their own head, it just sounds crazy. But if you go and you confirm to them that they've already got their own medicine, they already are doing the right things by sharing this video or starting a watch party so y'all can discuss it, feel free to invite me in. I will join. Do all of that right there. Do all of that, because it's all good. It's all good, baby. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this text today. I always open up with it from Proverbs 22:17. And remember, unless otherwise noted, all of the scriptures that we discuss are coming out of the New American Standard Bible. Unless I say, hey, we're doing this out of King James, because there are some, and some may come out of NLT, some may come from Good News. I do use different Bibles to bring the text. Okay. So this Proverbs 22:17. Incline your ear and hear the words of the wise, and apply your mind to my knowledge. Listen, learn from the wise people. If you look around and you see people doing things that you would like to be doing, you might consider them wise because they're already doing the thing that you want to do. There is no shame in giving credit where credit is due. None whatsoever. So if you come across someone who is wise, go ahead and get them people their credit. Go ahead. If you come across someone who is wise, go ahead and share me with other people. Okay. Be open to new things. Be open to learning new things, to hearing new things. Be open to these things. Be open. That's the only way really to live, right? That's how the Bible says if you obey God, you'll prosper. But if you believe his prophets, you'll live. Obey God and you will prosper. That sounds like money to me. Obey his prophets and you will live. All right. I want y'all to remember that. That's straight out the Bible. Straight scrizzle. That's what God said. You know why he says that? I believe why he says that is because we humans, and this is just conjecture at this point. This is just what I believe. It's not a download or anything like that. What I believe is, though, is wisdom. And I believe that the reason that God would give you instruction to obey him so that you prosper, but to listen to his prophets so that you live, is because, you know, like attracts like unto itself. Even though we are spirits having human experiences and experiencing human emotions, God is all spirit. And sometimes when the spirit is speaking to us, we are too hard-headed and too dense and have too low of a vibration to be able to truly hear, acknowledge, and make the move that we need to make in that way. That being the case, I believe that when God says, believe his prophets and you'll live, that he literally is saying, because these are other speaking spirits having human experiences right here on earth along with you, they got information that they can give to you in a way that you can actually receive, conceive. You're not trying to figure it out because they're speaking to you in a language and a manner that you understand. So believe his prophets and you will live. Obey God, you will prosper. Believe his prophets and you will live. Okay, so incline your ear and incline your heart. Hear the words of the wise and apply your mind to my knowledge. Be open to hearing new information. Be prepared to apply new information. Okay, Dr. Don says, keep trying to live like the wealthy, but either don't know or aren't willing to do what the wealthy did to get there. Cart before horse. Agreed. Gerald wrote, obedience is better than a sacrifice. This is the truth. This is the truth. Obedience is better than a sacrifice. It's there. It's clear. You know, one day we're going to talk about that story, how that all went down, where that came from. But, you know, basically God told them to do something in a particular way. And they felt this feels like it's a money message too. Is this not my message for today? But it does feel like a money message as well, because in that instance where obedience is better than a sacrifice, that in that instance, what happened was they were told to do something in a particular way. They got there, they got to doing it, and they realized, wait a minute, we could come up off of this. Why don't we go ahead and come up off of this? I mean, God couldn't really want us to destroy all of this wealth, could he? Nah, God wouldn't do that to us. Because they couldn't see past the mundane, the heavy, the low vibration, and they got caught up in their feelings. But that's not our text for the day. Our text for the day comes from 1 Timothy 6:10. Y'all ready? Y'all know this so good. Ooh, y'all know this so good. Y'all know it real good. For the love of money, this is coming from the King James Version. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Woo! Who you know like that? Anybody you know like that? Let me read it from the NASB. For the love of money is a root of all sorts of evil, and some, by longing for it, have wandered away from the faith and pierced themselves with many griefs. So, how long, Lord, have people been taught that money is the root of all evil? How long have people been taught that? Would you, if you were a making an educated guess, would you say that teaching, that truncated, cut off, just these 4 little words, for the love of, 4 little bitty words. The longest word got 4 letters in it. For the love of, right? Those 4 little words got cut off, and people got taught money is the root of all evil. Do you think that might have contributed to these global inequities and this global imbalance that we see where money is concerned, where wealth, finance, capital inclusion, economic healing, financial dignity, where all of those things are? Is it possible? Is it possible that people were taught that by the few so that the many would be at a disadvantage? For the love of money is the root of all evil, right? And then they don't tell you there's a colon after that. And it says, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. That's the whole verse. But what we get is money is the root of all evil, period. And the M is capital. That's what we got taught. Money is the root of all evil. We were told, now most of us were reading from the King James Version, and we were told that, that's just not how people talk no more. They used to talk different back then. Don't worry about the punctuation. Don't worry about the capitalization. It don't matter, because that's just how people used to talk back then. It's almost like they were not as smart as us. They were not as sophisticated as us. So we got taught to ignore for the love of, right? And I'm going to show you why that's really significant in a few seconds. And then we got taught, forget this colon, which means the thought is continuing. It's like, so a colon means, when you see a colon in English punctuation, it means what's about to follow this is a list. Did y'all know that? Did everybody know that? If you see a colon, right? If you see a colon, that's the one with the two periods, a period on top, a period on bottom. That's a colon. If you see a colon, that means that a list is about to follow. And it's a list pertaining to whatever the subject was that we were talking right here, right? That we were talking about before the colon came up, right? A semicolon means that this is a long thought and I'm continuing it. That's the one with the period and the comma under. That's a long thought and I'm continuing. But this is giving you a list. This is telling you it is for the love of money. That is the root of all evil, right? And then it goes into the list, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith. They've coveted. We know that covetousness is a sin according to the 10 Commandments, right? They've erred from the faith, and you know that faith is the only thing that pleases God, and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. They done bump their head, crack their face open, all kinds of stuff over the love of money. So I want us to go ahead and acknowledge that we've been tricked. Let's get past that part, because that's the thing that people resist. They don't like being tricked. They get mad when they figure out they've been tricked. So let's go ahead and admit that so we can move on. Let's move on from that. All right, we got tricked. And not just us, our parents, our grandparents, the people who raised them, and on and so forth, all the way back, generations have been tricked into believing that it's money that's the root of all evil, when the Bible clearly says it's for the love of money. Love of money is the root of all evil. Now, let me check. Let's go over here for a second. Let's run on out here to the concordance. Let's go over to the concordance and let's talk about this. So, this 1 Timothy is a New Testament teaching, meaning that its original language was actually Greek and not Hebrew, right? So they got the concept from the Hebrew, but this was originally a Greek word, and it's pronounced, I'm gonna get this. Watch this here. Philaguria. I got it. Yeah, I got it. Philaguria. And what it means is avarice. And avarice, if you look up avarice in the dictionary, let me tell you what avarice means in the dictionary. Excessive or insatiable desire for wealth or gain. Greediness. Cupidity, greediness. All right. It's a whole excessive or insatiable desire. And it's not saying it's either excessive or insatiable. It's saying excessive as in insatiable desire for wealth or gain. It's like there is a very heavy and negative connotation that goes along with that, right? There's a very heavy and negative connotation that goes along with that. So that is what for the love of money means, right? Let me get back to my screen. That's what it means. That's what philaguria means. But check this out. Let me show you the other trick. When you do a strong search on this, when you're in King James and you're doing a strong search, and you click the number, it's Strong's number G5366. It only shows up in the Bible one time, and I'm going to tell you why. Let me tell you why it only show up one time in the Bible. Now remember, we're talking about money, and money is the second most discussed topic in the Bible after God. But the reason why this one time, G5366, which we translate in the English language to mean avarice, shows up that one time is because it's not looking at just the word money. There is a phrase called love of money. It's a phrase. That's the reason why it only shows up one time. That word that we translate as avarice, which was originally philagoria, means one thing. It has one meaning. So when people start breaking it up and saying it's the money that's the root of all evil, that helps you to understand that that was a deliberate and intentional teaching to trick you away from your own inheritance. Remember, I said money is your birthright. Wealth is your birthright. You were born wealthy. If you were not born wealthy, these people would not go through so much trouble to trick you into believing that you shouldn't want money. Not just that money is bad, but you shouldn't even want it. It's so evil. You shouldn't even want it. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yes, Dr. Don says, oh, that's a word, Dr. Don. That's a word, Doc. Yep, that's a word. Gerald says, I've learned to do what Dr. Don says and you will live. Dr. Don is indeed a prophet. Dr. Don is indeed a prophet. She is indeed a prophet, okay? She said, that's a word. She said, yes, she agreed with something. It's insatiable and excessive. It's never enough. Have you ever... Okay, let me give you a real world example. Have you ever had to take like some kind of medication or something and it gave you dry mouth? It could have been herbal medication. Who knows? Any kind of medication where it felt like your mouth was dry. And you know your mouth ain't dry because you can stick your finger in there and you can get spit on your finger. You could actually make a loogie if you wanted to, right? It seems like you ain't never gonna be able to quench this thirst. You can drink everything, you can chew all the gum, you can do everything you want to do, and your mouth still feels like it is dry. That's what insatiability feels like. If you are always pining after, worrying about, trying to figure out all of this other stuff, if you doing that, you're insatiable about money, and that is the root of all evil. That's the thing that'll cause you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. That's the thing. What did the OJ say? For the love of money, a woman will sell her precious body, right? What did Biggie say? Your moms will be off in the cup waiting to light that ass up. You feel me? So it's that insatiability. It's that love of money. That's the avarice piece. That's the insatiable and excessive, like you just, no matter how much you get, it ain't never going to be enough. Don't we know somebody like that? All of us seem to know at least one person like that who happens to be on the world stage right now, even as we speak, with orange skin and all kinds of weird shit going on his head. I'm just saying, don't we know somebody that appears to be that way? We don't know what's in his heart. We just know what his actions show us, right? The Bible says out of the heart, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. And some of the stuff that this dude says, I'm just saying, I just think that's just my thoughts. That's just me. That's conjecture, okay? That means that's what I think. All right, I don't know what y'all think, but that's what I think. All right, so let's move on. For the love of money, avarice, is the root of all evil, right? Let's talk about what a root is. A root is exactly what it sounds like. You have grown trees, seen grasses, plants, flowers, all of those things. They have a root. And the root is a root. That's where you get your nutrition. That's where your growth comes from. A strong, healthy root system will produce strong, healthy plants with fruit that are also healthy. And just because it's fruit and it's healthy, don't mean it's good for you. Are any of you familiar with a fruit called ackee? You see it in Jamaica mostly, and you see it in South Florida. And this tree, it grows up big and strong. And the fruit, while they're on the tree, are red. They look like almost like pears or elongated apples. They're very strong. And if you go and you pluck one of them and bite into it, you will surely die. You will most surely die. You have to wait. If you are going to have ackee, you have to wait. You can't take it off the tree and let it ripen over time. You have to let that thing stay on the tree until it ripens to the point that it pops open, it explodes open, because those same gases that are inside the thing that will cause you to die, those gases the fruit has to expel it. And once it's been expelled, once those poisonous gases are expelled, then you can enjoy the fruit. So when we talking about a root, we talking about a thing that from which a thing grows. We're talking about metaphorically. I'm still on Strong's Concordance, y'all. I'm not making this up. I'm using die. Yes, die. If you pull that off the tree and eat it, you is dying. When you're speaking metaphorically about a root, though, we're talking about offspring or progeny. And what do offspring do? What do offspring do? They carry on your legacy. They do what you did. They go on and on to the right break of dawn. They keep you alive. Even if you dead, buried, and gone, they look like you, they walk like you, they talk like you, they do what you did. So when we're talking about this root, it's perpetual. It continues. It keeps happening. It is progeny means all the way down through your generations. That's what your progeny is. Hold on, I gotta shut this heater off. I done got hot in here. I should have known I was gonna warm up when I got to talking to y'all about this, because this is juice time. This is juicy. Juicy. So it goes on, right? It goes on. We talking about this root now. It's the root of all evil. You know, all means all the time, individually, each, every, any, all, the whole, everyone, all things, everything collectively, some of all types. That's all. It ain't no way to get away from it. All evil. Remember, I told y'all once before that just about every crime that's committed has at its root some economic kind of thing. Some is economic based in some way, shape, form, or fashion. There is an economic component at the root of it. When you dig all the way down, get all the way down to it, when you get to the smallest particle of it, when you get all the way into it, you're going to discover that there is some economic thing in there, right? So love of money is avarice, and that is never supposed to be broken up, but it was broken up. That's one phrase. It appears one time in the Bible in that way. For the love of money is a phrase, not a word. And it's the word that we translated to as avarice, and that means insatiable or as an excessive desire for money. You always on a paper chase. You know, anything you chase is gonna run. I'm just saying. Oh, look at Mr. Ellis coming over here talking about how marvelous I look. Well, thank you, honey. I appreciate that. All right, let me go back up here. Let's see. Dr. Don says, yep, never enough. Wow, avarice, love of money equals insatiable and excessive. Yes, 65% of Americans are insatiable for money. This is why we need economic healing. It's true. And you know why else we need economic healing, Dr. Don? Is because we don't know that we were born with financial dignity. We talked about that last week. I talked about financial dignity last week. Financial being a debt that's been paid. Right? It's something that's what finance, the root of finance. It means something that's been paid. There's an end to it. It's already done. We was born with that. And dignity being deserving, worthy. We were born with that, and we don't know it. We think it's something that we have to get. That's why the work that you in particular are doing is so incredibly important. So incredibly important. It is important because people need the reminder. People need to be reminded of who they were born as, who they came in this world to be, who they are in this world, who they are and whose they are. We all are part of the eternal one. We all are part of God, no matter what you call God. We all come from source. Each of us is a resource. That's why we're called that. Everything that exists is a resource, not the source. We're all a part of the source. That's why we are resources. Okay. Do it again. That's what that means. Okay. All right. So Dr. Don said that. She also said, let's see what else she said over here. Individual number one wants power. He does. He wants it so terribly badly. He wants it so terribly badly. Gerald said he don't want any of that. Yeah, Aki, when it's ripe, it busts open, and that's when you can eat it. It's prepared. It's a cooked dish. You might see, so it's a common breakfast food in Jamaican culture. It's called ackee and saltfish. It looks like eggs. It looks like eggs and fish cooked together, but it's actually a fruit when it's cooked. It has black seeds, shiny black seeds on the inside, and the flesh is yellow. And when you cook it together, it looks like eggs. It's a good dish. It's a good dish. Don't you? A lot of Jamaicans eat it. Who learned that and taught others? Somebody had to die to learn how to eat ackee. It's true. Dr. Don, it's true. And I remember from when we I remember when I went through the first mastermind program, one of the earliest teachings that I got from you was sometimes people have to die in order for you to get what you want. Sometimes people have to die. We are witness. Don't be alarmed by that, because it's true. How many of your ancestors had to die for this incarnation called you to be here? There are t-shirts, especially in the Black community, that we love, and we wear them, honey. We wear them with pride, that say, I am my ancestors' wildest dreams. It's the truth. I saw a picture. So I'm in a group called African American Vintage Photos or something like that. And I noticed a picture. I was scrolling. I saw my notifications this morning. I scrolled through, and there is a picture of a lady. It's a black and white picture. She's a heavier lady. She's sitting on a porch. She's holding a little baby, and she's got on no shoes. And it's one of them like shotgun houses. She's sitting in like a rocking chair on a wooden front porch. And it said something. So I looked at it, and because it's vintage American photos, African American photos, I thought it was some shit from like, the 1800s, because of the way the lady looked, the way she was dressed, the way she was holding the baby, how the baby was dressed, all of that. It's from like 1950s. It was from like the 1950s. It's somewhere in like Mississippi, some backwater in Mississippi or something like that. But when I tell you, when I look at that lady, I don't know if she's still with us. I don't know who that lady is. I don't know where that baby is now. I don't know what's happening. But when I realized, I was just really surprised when I learned how recent that picture was. And I think back, or I look back at photos and evidence of people who came before me and all this other stuff. And I wonder if they could imagine what it is that we're doing now. I'm sitting in my house, and I'm having church with people that I don't even know. I'm always so surprised because Facebook doesn't show me who all is here. Facebook doesn't, and of course, if you share it, and if you do a watch party, I won't know that your audience is interacting with me or anything like that. But I'll get an inbox, or I'll meet someone who says, I've been watching you for such and such time. I never know who's out there. I never know, unless you like comment or something. I never know who's out there. But I wonder, I'm having church, real church, with people who I don't know. Unlicensed by any church right now. I just want y'all to know that. My license expired a long time ago to preach. My bishop and I are still, my original bishop and I are still very cool. I still am a card carrying member of the church that I became a member of when I moved to Atlanta. I'm in a whole other state now. I believe I'm covered. I know they cover me. I know they love me, but they don't know I'm teaching this message, or maybe they do. They just haven't let me know they know. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe they like, I don't know if I can take credit for that one. I don't know if I want to attach my brand to that one. I ain't trying to hitch my horse to that wagon. Just saying. So I wonder though, sometimes somebody got to die. People have to die in order for you to get what you want. Accept that. That's all part of the scheme. That's all part of the grand plan. And if we could recognize death for what it is, and that's another lesson for another day. If we could recognize death for what it is, which is not a termination of something here in this world, but a real transition. People ascend. People become different once they've left this 3D world. That's another conversation. We're gonna talk about that another time. Let me keep going through the comments. So yeah, Dr. Don was like, who had to die? Somebody had to die to learn that lesson. I love you back, sis. Y'all see my husband say I look marvelous this morning. The love of Mary should be excessive, Gerald. Oh, I'm just saying. I'm the exception. Y'all could be excessive in your love for Mary. I'm okay with that. Let's see what else we got going on here. Okay, so Dr. Don says right. Okay, so let's get back to this root thing. This last piece, the root of all evil. Evil. Have you ever noticed that evil spelled backwards is live? Don't that seem kind of crazy? It seemed crazy to me. Hey, cousin or uncle, I don't know which Charles it is, but hey, one of y'all, how y'all doing? Have you ever noticed that though, that evil spelled backwards is live? I've always found that peculiar. And I feel it feels peculiar to me because of all the trickery that has gone on. People say that this thing or that thing that's not evil, they call things that are not evil, evil. But when some of the things that we want to do is just us living. And it seemed like they said, nah, that's evil. You can't do that. No living for you. Anyway, we'll talk about that another time. So Strong's translation of the word evil is of a bad nature, not such as it ought to be, of a mode of thinking, feeling, acting, base, wrong, wicked, troublesome, injurious, pernicious, destructive, and baneful. Pernicious. Have you ever heard that word before? Let me tell y'all. Let me go on out here to the dictionary again. And I'm going to show y'all what pernicious is. There is something that is very, very kind of, there's an insidiousness that goes with perniciousness. There is a deep level of darkness around that word pernicious. So when you look it up in the dictionary, it says tending to cause death or serious injury, deadly, causing great harm, destructive. The archaic definition is evil or wicked. Pernicious. There is so much intent. That's the word that I'm looking for. If something, there is so much intention behind the word or rolled into the word pernicious, that if that's used to describe something, you best believe that there is a real intent that goes along with whatever the pernicious act is. There is an intent for you to be destroyed. There is an intent for you to die. There is an intent. This is not so that others may live. It is like it is trying to kill you off. It does not want you to have offspring or progeny or anything like that. There is a real intent. So no one can tell me and cause me to believe that when the framers, the original message carriers, decided to truncate and cut off the phrase love of money, when they made it just money, nobody can tell me that they did that for any reason other than one that has at its root perniciousness. Somebody was trying to kill you. Somebody was trying to make sure that your ancestors' wildest dreams never came to fruition. Somebody was trying to make sure that you never got your economic healing, that you never recovered your financial dignity, and certainly that you not experience any capital inclusion. Someone intended for you to have the mentality or the spirit of poverty, which is the point of this conversation, because it is truly the love of money, that avarice, that perniciousness. That's a spirit. And that spirit is rooted in poverty. We know that poverty is rooted in fear. So fear is the true root of all evil. That's the real root. It's fear. It ain't got nothing to do with money. It's the willingness to do things that will cause harm, even to the point of death and destruction of another. That is the real root of all evil. And that, my friends, is what this entire message is about. So that there's my word. You know, I have this phone number and I am welcoming and inviting you to join me on this conversation. That's right. That's why you heal. Dr. Don said that's why you heal on an economic level first. That's why economic healing is critical. So we got this phone number. If you want to talk about this, if you want to fight about it, whatever it is, because you know, I done told y'all, I invite you to call in, but do not call up in here thinking that you finna run roughshod all over, sister, because I will cuss you out. I will hang up on you. I will do all of that. This is why I'm not sure that the people who I learned the word under and got that original license from is like signing on. They probably like, sis, you got that word, but you also got a little tool. You got a little bit of a tool. So I don't know if we can do that. We might not be able to rock with that, but let me give you the phone number anyway. The telephone number, if you would like to call in and be heard about this matter, is 669-900-6833. The webinar ID is 766-687-876. The webinar ID is 766-687-876, and you are going to be participant number 40. Participant ID number 40. So go ahead, feel free, give me a call, holler at me. We can talk about it. I'm good with that. I ain't never scared. Y'all know how we get down. Let's see. Gerald came back with, my favorite scripture. He sure did. He came back with my favorite scripture. He said, a feast is made for laughter and wine makes merry, but money answers all things. Y'all know that is actually the original foundational scripture for the Bag Lady Radio Show. That is the scripture. That's the biblical principle upon which I was given the instruction and the branding. Your profit is in your purpose. I have kept that branding because the message hasn't changed. Even though the show is revived, even though, it's a different, there's a different format, there's a different medium, the show itself, the purpose of that show, the reason that show exists has not changed. So the message has not changed. The only thing that's changed is the medium with which I deliver it. That's it. Nothing else has changed about it. That's it. And I have to tell you, the scriptural foundation for this show has remained Proverbs 22:17, which is to incline your ear and hear the words of the wise and apply your mind to my knowledge. That's what this show is all about. Learning. We're in a recovery mode. We're recovering right here. We are remembering who we are. This show, MoneyFest Destiny, is here to prove to you that wealth, well-being, all of those things are your Dr. Don. I'm gonna kill you. That's why this is the gospel of money, because money is your God-given right. Money is your God-given right. If money was not your God-given right, why would they go through so much trouble to trick you out of it? Why would they do that? I don't think lychee tastes like grapefruit. I think lychee is closer to, well, in texture is closer, of course, to the big grapes, but lychee is way sweeter than grapefruit. So I don't know what kind of lychee you got. But I love lychee fruits. I love them. I will make myself sick eating them. I love them. I have a kind of insatiability when it comes to lychees. I will have that. I will have that. I got a little touch of avarice when it comes to lychees. just a little touch. So yeah, man, I'm getting close to the end, so I guess nobody is calling. So that being the case, let me make sure that I haven't missed any calls. Okay, good. Since no one has called, then I'm going to go ahead and give y'all this sneak peek, this preview of some of the other good stuff that I got going on, because I want y'all to have good stuff too. Unlike these people who done tricked everybody, I really want you to have every single thing that you came into this earth to have. I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed. You know that I have a desire, and it's become a burning desire to help Black women become millionaires. I see how easy it is to actually become a millionaire. She says it tastes like a sweeter grapefruit, and it is avarice inducing. Yes, I can go there with some lychees. I'm with it. But anyway, I have what has become a burning desire to help Black women become millionaires, whether it is inviting them onto my shows, excuse me, and allowing them to expose their message to my audiences, or if it is purchasing their product and using it in my life. And actually, since I made that intentional decision, every time that I've decided to buy something from a Black woman, or patronize a Black woman in that way, I have gotten extremely high quality. I have gotten extremely high quality. I've been very pleased with my results. I've enjoyed the experience all around. So yes, I am very much interested in helping Black women become millionaires, or if it is actually contributing to their physical wealth by helping them to position themselves to be able to receive large cash infusions. Now, y'all know that what I'm talking about is the financial self-defense class that I teach. And I'm gonna tell you, my students, my current students, have really got my head swelling all up because they enjoy the classes. The class is 2 hours long, and we always end up going over. We always end up staying on. I always budget an additional hour for any questions or anything that might come up. But the conversations that we engage, is an interactive class. I'm teaching, but people ask questions. People have experiences that they bring to the process, and we have these discussions, and I'm able to help them move forward in their businesses, be it by whether it's a new business that they're forming, or by helping them to get in position, like I said, to be able to take advantage of this capital inclusion that we've gotten our hands on around here. If it is improving your credit to the point, your personal credit right now, to the point that you can qualify within a few weeks in order to be able to get this capital inclusion, or starting from scratch with a whole new credit profile. And yes, it is legal. It is lawful. It is moral. All of those things, whether it's that or the other, I'm able to guide people to the place where they're able to participate in capital inclusion. Hey, Judith, good to see you, love. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm able to help with that. Funny, hey, Dr. Don, you notice Judith showed up right about the time. She shows up on my screen right now. I don't know how long she's been watching, but she shows up on my screen right after I say I want to help Black women become millionaires. And pow, there go Judith. She like, what millionaires? Where we at? Where we at? Who we doing? What we doing? What we got to do? I'm with that. I love it. I love it. Yes, come on in, sis, because I'm with it. I'm with it. So yeah, I am helping women to do that. Now, that is not to the exclusion of men or any other races of people. That's not to the exclusion of anyone. It is specifically, though, that I'm speaking to Black women because I'm a Black woman. I'm a Black woman. It makes sense that I would speak to women like me. I know what we go through. I know what we've gone through. I know how we've been duped. I know how we've been iced out. And oftentimes we're the last ones to get something. We're the ones that's going to do the best thing with it. We're the ones that's going to bring everybody else along. But everybody else want to try and get it in before us, use it all up, and then leave scraps for us. And we still make miracles. We still do that. So how much better if we get in first? If we get in where we fit in, where we're supposed to be, take our rightful places, stand on the precipice, be out at the leading edge, about to fall off a cliff, because we know that if we do fall, we can learn to fly on the way down. We have done that, and then we can teach you how to do it. So I have decided that very healthy. I agree. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Judith. Thank you. Yes, thank you. I agree that it might feel a little offensive and it might feel a little exclusionary when I say I want to help Black women become millionaires. I want Black women to feel like I'm excluding other people and paying attention to them, because I to a degree I am. Not to the exclusion. I can't say the exclusion part because I'm not saying no to anyone who wants to get the help. But I'm saying to my sisters, come on, sis, we can do this. Let's take our rightful places. Oh, you want that phone number? I could do that there. I could do that there. Hold on, Dr. John. In fact, why don't let me see. Can I share the call-in number? Because I did not do that. I did not do that. Mea culpa. Mea culpa. So the phone number The phone number. Okay, I was about to say, like, seriously, you're not gonna post. So the phone number is 669-900-6833. Hey, Cecilia. The webinar ID is 766-687-876. And the participant ID is number 40. Number 40. In fact, let me see. I done did the wrong thing around here. Delete. Yes, delete and put it back right. Let's put it back right. So you're going to do participant ID 40. Don't worry about them other numbers. Do participant ID 40. Okay. That's what we're doing here. Hey, Tria. Thank you very much for joining, love. Thank you very much for joining. Let's see. Do we have a caller? We do not have a caller yet, but that number is there. Yep, there it is. There's the number. There are the numbers, because it's actually two numbers, just in case it is busy. Right? Oh, well. All right, fine. It's there. Okay, now we have a caller. Voila. Well, hello, caller. You are live on the MoneyFest Destiny Show. We're down to the last few minutes. So what would you like to say? What would you like to share with the people on the broadcast today?
It is your favorite doctor, your rich black girl darling, Dr. Don Bonte. And the crowd goes wow.
The crowd went wow. Hey, Dr. Don. I thought that was your number.
Wow.
The crowd goes wild. The crowd has reason to go wild. Why am I tongue-tied right now? The crowd has reason to go wild. You know, before you say what you got to say, I want to say again, acknowledge publicly to everyone who's listening, to everyone who calls in, to anyone who came on late, the work that you do in particular is so very important to what it is that we have to do as a culture, as a society. And if we want to see real healing, real change, if we really want to usher in this new paradigm, the work that you're doing is critical to that. So thank you for being willing and obedient. Now, what you called in to say, girl?
Well, first of all, let me say my pleasure. I am, you know, humbled and humbled in a good way, not in the way most people mean it. But I was so honored to be chosen to do this work. And to be able to have, what's the word I'm looking for? A direct line to know what to deliver, when to deliver it, how it's most palatable. You know, just to be in a place where I can receive the knowledge so that I can then give it to other people. And so, you know, to be in a position where I could be made over myself. Because, you know, I had to go through a full makeover myself first. You know, you can't give people what you don't have. So, of course, I had to do some economic healing first, and it was very challenging. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I'm pretty understanding of people. I know when to, you know, pat them on the back, and I know when to kick their butt because I've been down that road. And I can tell when people are really in need of some extra guidance, and when people just making excuses, you know, for not wanting to move forward and still living in fear. So I want to thank you, though, for taking this ride with me for so long. And I was sharing with you this morning that people just don't know how hard it is to be married. It's a rough job. It's a rough job.
Somebody got to do it.
Somebody got to do it. Somebody got to do it. You have endured a lot, and you have fought. I've watched you really fight a real good fight. You went down kicking and screaming, but once you relaxed the old habits, and once you just said, "Oh, it ain't what I thought. Oh, it's different than what I was doing before. I got to do something." Okay, great. And you have just really blossomed and started doing things different, not just in your financial life, in your business, but in your relationships with your family and your friends. You have become a really good friend, a great business partner, and I'm just honored to work with you. So I want to say that before I move on. But what I did like that you said, because I feel like this is what I call for.
Okay.
I liked when you said, this is going to seem like it's not related, but it totally is. When you said, I usually budget more time. I usually budget an extra hour.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why those words, budget and extra hour, that is so important, because when people think about budgeting, they always think about cutting back.
Right.
And they always think about taking away and reduction and lack and shortage. And so it really spoke to me when you said, I always budget an extra hour. And I want people to understand that budgeting has to do with increase.
Yes.
Not cutting back.
Yes.
Budgeting is about increase.
That's a message
so when
by
you're
itself.
budgeting,
Ooh, I love that.
Yes, when you're budgeting, you're not, well, I ain't got to have cable. Well, I ain't got to have, no. When you're budgeting, you're doing the most efficient use of your financial soldiers, but you're also figuring out how to increase the income. So I put up my post about the fact that I upped the price on one of my Airbnbs. Don't ask me why they upped the price on all of them. I just upped the price on one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Upped it to $5,000 a night, thinking no one would pay that, Less than 24 hours after I upped the price, somebody booked for 5 days.
5 days at that price. At
5
that
days.
Upped price, y'all.
At $5,000 a night.
A night, y'all.
So,
don't sleep on that, y'all.
Night.
Don't sleep on that.
Yeah.
Girl, it's so good to be in Atlanta right now. I'm just saying, ain't nothing but money through Atlanta right now.
Ain't nothing but money, baby.
We want some money. If you got a little avarice,
yes,
you need to be in Atlanta.
So that happened, and I posted it. I posted it on my Facebook profile, and I posted it on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I posted it on my Instagram, this guy commented, well, you need to you could make more money. That's good, but you can make more money. Go. What did he say? He said, make breakfast for them and charge them for it, and drive them around and charge them for it, and I said, I don't work for money. Money works for me.
Works for me. I like that I like how he thinks, because you can surely hire somebody to do all that stuff, and they will pay you.
Well, check it out. Check it out. Check it out. See, great minds. Because I said, no, I don't work for money. Money works for me. So he said, well, you could hire somebody to do all of those things and make extra money. So in my mind, I'm thinking, is this nigga, he trying to apply for a job? I go to his page, and sure enough,
that's what he doing.
He does all of these services. So he's trying to basically tell me how to run my business, try to get himself a job. Now, I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to stay in my lane. Like, I'm not doing all that. But, and because that would be, if I did that, let me just say that would be a very good illustration and demonstration of avarice and insatiable, appetite, because I'm not in that business. I'm in real estate. I'm not in services.
That's right.
And I don't have any desire to get into that business. And that would literally, it would be the root of poverty, because guess what? It would take me away from my current businesses that I enjoy doing. Mm-hmm. It would make me focus elsewhere. And then my businesses that are up and running and bringing me emotional income, mm-hmm. and giving and the things that I should be doing that I know are my spiritual mandate would suffer, because I'm too busy trying to chase 2 or 3 little coins over here when I'm not in the services industry any longer. I used to be in personal services, but I don't serve people in that way anymore.
Right.
So while I understand this man trying to get him a job, and I like his style.
I like his hustle.
He tried it. Can't knock the hustle. But he probably should have DM'd me and said, well, I offer these services, instead of trying to publicly tell me how to run my business, because you know what I did, right? I shut him down. But
he can't be in your DM, because then won't nobody else go, oh, that's a good idea. Let me feed my avarice.
Right. That's true. That's true. But what I did say to him, I said, well, I'm not, I don't come to your Uber telling you how to drive people around. Don't you come to my Airbnb telling me how to, you know what I'm saying? You stay in your lane, I'm staying in my lane. And that's what we're going to agree to do. Okay.
Right.
And so that, we didn't get into it wasn't no Instagram fighting going on, but I did promptly let him know that he good. You know what I'm saying? He good. I'm good. We're good. But my point is that, I was not chasing money when I upped the price. I had an empty space and I just wanted to see. I was doing an experiment. And I just put the price, and I wasn't attached to, I hope somebody, book. I hope I wasn't checking it every 3 minutes. I upped the price, not really just kind of like unattached to whether somebody booked or not. It was an experiment. If somebody booked, great. If not, well, oh well. Maybe I'll go and stay there myself and, enjoy the festivities, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Went on about my life. And the next thing I know, I see the little icon come up, on my phone. And I'm like, wait, what's that? Because, in my mind, I'm all booked up except for this one space that I know nobody's going to book for $5,000 a night. And the two things that I want to make, the points that I want to make is, one, the attracting money requires you to drop the insatiable appetite for money.
Yep.
It's almost like when I go into a new business, I haven't been in a new business in a while. My businesses are either extensions of things that I've been doing for a long time, or they're things that I've been doing for a long time. So I'm not really in any new business ventures right now. But when I do get into a new business venture, it's never to make money. It's to learn the business. And that's what I learned from my mentors, that when you first get into business, you should not be getting into business to make money. You should be getting into business to learn the business. And eventually you will make money because you will have mastered the business, and you will be so customer centered, because mastering business is mastering your customer, knowing who your customer is and what they want so deeply that you give it to them without them having to ask, and you give them a little bit of extra that they didn't even know they wanted or needed.
Exactly.
Because you've taken the time to really learn that business instead of chasing after the money. So when you're starting a new business, from my mentor's perspective and advice that I give to people that I work with, you should already have some money coming in to sustain you. You should not be starting a business when you're in survival mode, because that's what creates the avarice and the insatiable financial appetite that'll make you scam people and take on projects that you can't do, work with people that you don't like, doing work that you shouldn't even be doing, taking discounts. Discounting prices, taking on clients that you doing things because when you're desperate like that, you do things you ain't supposed to do. When you're just learning, you just learning. You trying things out, and if it work out, great. If not, it's like, okay, don't do that no more. Check. But it don't take you out of the game. It doesn't make you look bad in your business because you just trying something. And then eventually you put all of those pieces together that you learn, and you filter out the things that didn't work. And now you have a working, running, thriving business that people love because they know that you've taken the time to do the market research, to test the waters. I learned that lesson when I moved from Atlanta, Georgia to Indianapolis, Indiana. And I tried to take my real estate business and just pick it up from Atlanta and drop it in Indianapolis. Them people handed me my ass, because you don't bring a business and just shove it down people's throat when you move to a new city. You come and you find out what's the culture. What do y'all want? What do y'all need? How y'all get down? And then you let the people tell you what they want, and then you sell it back to them. And instead, what a lot of us do is we get in business to get money. We don't get in business to serve the people. We get in business to get money.
Right.
If you get in business and serve the people, I promise you the money will come. It don't have no choice. So you ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to.
I'm a witness.
You ain't got to worry about it.
I changed my business
as long as you worried about it.
Yep.
As long as you worried about it, you're going to have that root of evil, love of money, avarice. You're going to have that because you're trying to survive. You're trying to feed yourself. You're trying to keep your lights on. So you will do things from that standpoint, from that perspective. So I just wanted to offer that perspective about
before you hang up, because it sounds like you're trying to close out. So before you leave.
No, I was getting ready to go back to the budgeting, but go ahead.
Okay, well, let me say this about that survival mode thing. I remember when I was in survival mode. Now that I'm not in survival mode, I can see survival mode. And I can remember how I felt. And I'm gonna tell you, so survival mode is exactly what it sounds like. You're trying to stay alive. But the only reason you will be trying to stay alive is if you feel like something or someone is caught trying to kill you. That is what survival mode is. That is why
you're literally afraid you're gonna die. You're literally afraid that you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
Yeah.
That's what the rapid heartbeat is all about. That's what the anxiety attacks are about. That's what the depression is about. That is what the snapping and being angry is about. It is you're literally fighting for your life when you're in survival mode, and you have made your weapon of choice, as well as your shield, as well as the weapon that's beating you, money. It's all the same. You got one weapon that's trying to kill you, and it's money. And you got one weapon that you're trying to shield to protect yourself with, and it's money. And you got one weapon you're trying to fight back with, and it's money. And that is all of that sounds crazy, because it is, because you literally are out of your fucking mind when you're in survival mode, because you got one job: stay alive. That's it. And that's why something as simple as letting the lights go off will send you into a full-fledged panic when somebody says that to you. That's why it's something as, I think when you segueing back to your budgeting conversation, Dr. Don, I think that the reason, I think people are being preemptive when they say, well, I'm a budget, so I don't need cable. I don't need this. I don't need that. They're trying not to get caught off guard. They're trying not to have the rug swept out from under them by anticipating what it's going to be like if they just cut back, if they just let it go.
Well, Mary, I think you're remembering, back to a time, but let's go back further, because we've hit, see, I've been in survival mode, and I've been the cutback queen. And but I remember further back than being the cutback queen when I was doing the preemptive. I don't want you to take it from me, so I'll just give it back, because I did do that.
Yeah.
Before I don't want you to take it from me, so I'll give it back, under the guise of budgeting. I didn't even look at my bills. I was scared because I didn't want to feel the pain of not being able to pay. And shit would go off, and I would find new and creative ways of explaining to my son why we didn't have this or that. Right. And a lot of times I would take it out on him and yell and punish him for things. And it was really just me being in survival mode, being angry. And, you take that stuff out on the ones that's closest to you.
Yep.
And, I did get to a point where I wasn't so, reactionary to things. I did get to a point where I hurt my back. I don't even know if I told you about this, but I hurt my back when I was working at Spotsdale, which is why I got completely out of that business. I was chasing some money. I was on my average. And I did some things physically to work with a client that was I just shouldn't have been doing. I was trying to, they was trying to get a facial and a pedicure at the same time, and the way the room was set up, it was just crazy, and I hurt myself physically, and ended up on my back for weeks.
Wow!
And had the contortions. And I had,
I said the contortions.
I had to learn how to budget. That was the time when I had to, because I was still getting a portion of my salary. But I had to literally lay on my back and say, son, bring me my bills, and open them one by one. And just there was no, I didn't have any distractions. So I had to just take it. I had to just feel it and figure out how to, pay things, how to also eat, how to make sure that he got what he needed, that I was able to get medication, for my pain. And that it was a moment. It took a minute for me to really accept that I wasn't going to be able to do all of the things that I had been doing in the way that I had been doing them. So I had to change. And, we don't love change.
It's not always fun.
And especially not when it comes to financials, because that's the fear. If something changes, what if it changes for the worse? So long story short, that was kind of my first economic healing moment, before I even knew what that was, before I had those words, my economic healing moment came because I had to, because it wasn't like I could go and make more money and say, oh, I'll just make it back next week. Because when you're in the cash business, that's how you feel. Oh, I'll just get it back next week. Doing hair and nails and makeup, people paying you in cash, you getting hundreds of dollars in tips every day. You feel like you can just spend. But then when you on your back and you can't do what you used to do to make that cash, you have to budget. You have to budget. And so I was opening bills that I had never even, I ain't even know, Wow. And it was like, it was a moment. It was like, oh, I actually got to look at this stuff now.
Wow. That is something.
So,
that is something.
But there are people out there that don't look at their credit card bills. The only thing they look at is their paycheck. They don't look at the light bill, the phone bill. They don't look. They just, when it's they got it on auto debit, or if they get a call from the people that say we're gonna shut your shit off, they say, okay, let me give you my debit card number.
Right. Yep.
They're not even looking. So they don't even have an opportunity to guide and direct the money so that it works in the most efficient and optimal manner. Yeah. So I think that's one stage. And then the next stage is I'll cut back. I'm going to do the right thing and I'm going to be smart and I'm going to cut back. That's not smart. The smart thing to do is to actually figure out how you can increase your income, how you can decrease your time away from your friends and family while increasing your income, and still keep the stuff you got and get you some more. But how do you put your money to work for you?
And that's the real conversation.
Your body to work.
That's the real conversation, and that's the conversation that doesn't get had. That's the reason why a show like MoneyFest Destiny has to exist, because people, all of those things sound like they're contrary to one another. How am I going to increase my income, decrease the amount of time that I spend away from my people, pay what I got, and get some more? How that's going to happen? What I got to do? What you trying to tell me?
I got a whole list. I got a whole list.
I know. We got the list, and actually that list is right here. Yep. I got the 10 things list right next to me right now. Is on my book. But not just that. There's that list. Then there are the resources. The money school. I didn't even get to talk about the money school yet. The money school is a place where people can actually go and learn about money. But I think that folks sometimes see that and go, that can't be real. Y'all play too much. Oh, that's just a cute marketing thing. That's just something that y'all are saying.
I think they think we're gonna say the same thing that, I think they think we're gonna repeat things that they've already heard. Because they think that what they've heard is all there is.
They think they know. Yeah, but it ain't like that, bruh. It ain't like that. Ask a money school student. Ask anybody. You can actually you can find the money school and you can request to go in and look around. And if you feel like what's in there is what you've seen and heard before, then just get back out the group. It's gonna cost you what? A few minutes?
They ain't gonna hear nothing. They gonna. So what happened with the one guy? Is that he came in trying to tell us everything that we've already seen and heard that don't work. It didn't even work for him.
Right. It doesn't.
But it wasn't working for him.
Damn different jobs. He's streams of revenue. Yes, streams of income. Right. And if you don't work one of them, guess what happens to that stream? It's dry as fuck. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate you for allowing me to come on your show and talk my talk.
Well, I appreciate you for talking the talk that you talk when you come on my show.
Thank you, Mary, for this wonderful platform. I appreciate you.
You are very welcome. Oh, Gerald says, ask me, the money school. Gerald, in order to make it a real hashtag, you got to keep the words together, brother. Because right now it's just hashtag the.
Did you just call him brother? Him brother?
We are. Gerald is my brother. Brother Gerald.
Brother Gerald.
Brother.
You remember Brother Underwear?
Girl, yes. You leave him alone. You leave that thing.
gotta get off now.
So crazy. Bye. Crazy lady. I love my friends. My friends are completely out of their minds, and that's what I love about them. That's what I love best about my friends is that they're completely out of their minds. They're out of the minds that were given to them by the people who may have had their best interests at heart, but just didn't know any better. So I love that. So anyway, that's the show. I have redeemed the time. In fact, I've actually given y'all a little bit of a cushion. You got a little bit more. We sprinkled on because y'all had Dr. Dawn on the show today. And Dr. Dawn, like I said, the work that she's doing is so very important to moving this platform forward, to move into helping to change this paradigm. We are in a paradigm shift, but it can stagnate and even revert if we're not conscious and aware, if we're not paying attention to the fact that we have been lied to, we have been bamboozled, and we have been run amok around this piece. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get off now. I'm going to post the rest of the announcements, trade with me in the foreign exchange market. I'm going to post that link. Join us in the money school. I'm going to post that link. Come on and get into this financial self-defense class. Learn how you can get, in fact, what would you do? I want you to type it in the comments. What would you do if you had $150,000 for your business right now? Even if you don't have a business, everybody got a desire and a dream to start one. So what would you do if you had $150,000 right now? Go ahead, type it in the comments. This has been MoneyFest Destiny. I am, of course, Celebrity Mary. Make sure that you connect with me on Twitter, Periscope, and IG at Celebrity Mary. My Facebook page is Mary Ellis Golden Hearts Holdings. And of course, I'm right back here every Sunday at 11 a.m. because this is a different kind of Bible study. I'm going to prove to you that money is your God-given right. All right. So I'll see you guys on the flip side. Oh, don't forget about the rebroadcast. We do that. This show will run again tonight at 6 p.m. and then again on Thursday at noon. All right. So I'll see y'all on the flip side. Oh, you know what I forgot to say? I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.